Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. We are a welcoming congregation where we strive to transform ourselves and the world through love, wonder, and connection. My name is John Countryman. I use he, his pronouns, and I serve on the worship committee. Today, we will be sharing in an interactive, multi-generational worship service. This means that children and youth will be invited to stay throughout the service and will not be leaving for their religious exploration class. The nursery, however, is still available for those who would be more comfortable there. Please plan to stay after church on the 28th, that is a week from today, for a potluck in celebration of our new members. Great food and great conversation are available to all. Please join us and take a moment to introduce yourself to our new members. May 4th and 18th, the Living Pledge Workshop will be held at the church. This workshop helps you to recognize and challenge systemic racism in your everyday life. Details about this worship can be found in your OOS and the e-news. In worship today, we are joined by the choir, the hymn jammers, and Reverend Lauren Levewood, who joins us today as our guest minister. Reverend Lauren, here she comes now, is an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister and currently serves as a chaplain resident at Mary Washington Hospital in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She is also a board member for the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth. Reverend Lauren has a background as a women's health massage therapist, birth doula, and professional modern dancer. Probably doesn't have a lot of spare time. She is drawn to embodied and earth-based spiritual practices, religious naturalism, and experiences of awe and wonder arising from art, poetry, music, and the natural world. Rah, rah, rah. Reverend Laura lives with her spouse, Reverend William Levewood, 10-year-old daughter Haya, and their black cat, Comet. Welcome, Reverend Laura.
Good morning, everybody. It's so good to be here with you. Thanks so much for inviting me to spend this Earth Day Sunday with you today. I can't imagine a better place to spend Earth Day than in Virginia with all of the beauty, even though it's a great day. Spring is surrounding us. On this Earth Day, UUCC's worship team has put together a creative, multi-generational service that, like our proposed Article 2 revisions, places love in the center of how we care for Earth. And what is a more iconic way to share sentiments of love than by writing love letters, which we'll do a little bit later on in the service. I want to thank the UU Ministry for Earth for providing creative fodder for today's worship service, which they so generously gift each month as part of their free monthly musings, earth-affirming worship resources. I hope that you enjoy what we have in store for you, and welcome to this Earth Day Sunday.
Whether you are here for the first time or the 1,000th time, welcome. Whatever you are facing in your own life, welcome. This is a place where we try our best to be real with one another, to get through hard things together and to remind ourselves and one another of the values that ground and center us, that motivate and move us. Whoever you are, whatever your faith journey, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We welcome all who seek to know the sacred and all who seek to make our world more just. Our commitment is to be together in covenant, to live out our values, and to work together towards our mission. These are what makes a church. These are what make our church. The mission of this church is to transform ourselves and the world through love, wonder, and connection. Please rise in body or spirit to join me in our affirmation of who this community is, beginning with that all-important word, Love is the message of this church, and this is our way. This is our great covenant together, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let's join in singing our opening hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth, number 21 in our gray hardback hymnal.
We light this chalice, symbolic of the warmth of community and the brightness that love brings to the world, illuminating our search for justice and peace, light, that force that nurtures all living things, here in our midst in this flame, so tiny and so significant. You may be seated. Howdy. I'm here to keep you on your toes this morning, and I'm going to flip the script a little bit and invite a stewardship representative to come share a little bit about an update on where we are. Okay?
Good morning. My name is Gail Murphy. I use she, her pronouns. I am chair of the Stewardship Committee. I asked for a few moments today to give you the update on expanding our circle of love. The board had charged us with raising $379,000. I am pleased to report to you that as of Friday, we have collectively pledged $379,936. Thank you to the members of the Stewardship Committee. I saw some of you here, and probably somebody's out with the bake sale. And thank you to the stewards for all your hard work. Thank you to all who supported the rollout of the campaign. And most of all, thank all of you for investing in UUCC, where love is the message and service is our way. Thank you.
Now I gotta follow that excitement? Okay.
My name is Adina Danuf. I use she and they pronouns, and I am here to tell you a story. Surprise. This story is called A Love Letter to a Tree, and it is by Reverend Kelly Dignan. And the illustration you see here is by Nasreen Khan. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a child named Alex, a deep soul with a heart full of love. Alex spent countless hours under the shade of wise old trees in their backyard. One in particular was Alex's favorite. Has anybody ever had a favorite tree? I'm seeing some hands, okay. One sunny day, as the leaves whispered secrets in the breeze, Alex decided to express their feelings in a love letter to their favorite tree. With a box of crayons and a sheet of paper, they poured their emotions onto the page. The letter began, "Dear tree, you're my best buddy. Your leaves are like green confetti, and your branches are my favorite hiding spots." Alex wrote about memories shared with the tree, picnics beneath its branches, reading stories, and even daydreaming about far-off lands. The letter spoke of the tree's strength, resilience, and the beauty it brought to the garden. Alex marveled at the way the tree sheltered birds and insects, creating a harmonious ecosystem. Interdependence? Yeah. One stormy night, a powerful wind blew through the town, and the next morning, Alex rushed outside to find a small branch had been cracked by the storm. Sadness washed over Alex, but determination sparkled in their eyes. With care and creativity, Alex worked with their parent to gather rope and other supplies. Together, the two mended the branch. "You protect me from the sun, and now I will protect you," Alex whispered. Lo and behold, after several months, the wood on the small branch fused back together, and a new leaf sprouted. Through all the seasons, the bond between Alex and the tree grew stronger. Their friendship became a beacon of love and resilience, teaching everyone that even the smallest act of kindness can make a big difference.
Speaking of love for natural things, whoever brought in the azalea blooms today, thank you very much. See that? Whoa. Please join me in our offering and acknowledging all the ways we give to this church and this world. We give because this is our church, and we value what it does for us, to us, and through us to our community and our world. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this church inside and outside our walls. May we give in love and hope. They sound good, don't they? Yeah. Thank you for your offering and all the ways you give to our life and ministry with your time, talent, treasure, and trust. I'm going to need these. Together, our gifts allow us to expand and strengthen the tapestry of love, wonder, and connection that blesses this church and transforms us and our world.
Hello again. So back to these love letters. In her essay, "But the greatest of these is love," Mary Anise Hegler says, "There's many different schools of thought about how we should feel about climate change. For decades, the dominant narrative has been that we should feel guilt. Then there's a dual narrative that calls for hope. Others have called for fear or panic. I myself am on the record calling for anger. But I don't always feel angry, to tell the truth. In fact, sometimes I'm hopeful, and sometimes I'm scared. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed, and sometimes I'm downright stubborn," which she then says, "My mama would tell you that's pretty much all the time." Not my mom. That's because none of those emotions really get to the heart of what I truly feel. None of them are big enough. If I'm honest with myself, what I truly feel is love. I don't mean any simple, sappy kind of love. I don't mean anything cute or tame. I mean living, breathing, heart-beating love. Wild love. This love is not a noun. She is an action verb. She can shoot stars into the sky, and she can spark a movement. She can sustain a revolution. When you love something or someone that much, of course you're frightened when you see it under attack. And of course you're furious at anyone or anything that would dare harm it. But this love is strong enough to break through the terror. She is hot enough to burn through anger and turn into fury. She can shake you out of your despair and propel you to the front of the battlefield. In the words of Asada Kishore, revolution means protecting the people, the plants, the animals, the air, the water. Revolution means saving this planet. Revolution is love.
Please join me now in our time of meditation and prayer. Find a comfortable space, settling back into your body, closing your eyes if that feels comfortable, or lowering your gaze. Notice your breathing. Find your center. Take a moment to just be and settle into that still place inside. Maybe putting a hand on your heart, if that feels right. Pose this question to your heart. What do I love? What do I love? Simply ask and notice whatever arises. Make space for anything and everything. Deepen your inquiry into your heart by asking, what is too important to me to lose or forget? Keep listening and honor whatever arises. As something clear emerges, appreciate your connection with what you love, your commitment, your devotion. And in your imagination now, offer a gesture or phrase to express your love and seal this moment. And gently coming back into the present, wiggling your fingers and toes and opening your eyes if they've been closed. Looking around the room and coming back to those around you, to this space, as we continue to worship together. We're going to now move to our centers of connection. And bear with me because I've never done this or seen your ritual before, but I'm going for it, okay? So go with me. Ritual is an important part of how we are human, be it the ritual of brushing our teeth twice a day, having family dinner, or even coming to church like we did this Sunday. Humans like to do things on repeat. When we come together here and practice rituals, it helps us connect with meaning, with ourselves, and with the community. So this month, UUCC has been holding 3 connection centers. We have our candles of joy and sorrow, as we do every week, a time to light a candle so the congregation can hold the light with you in your joy or sorrow. And over here, stones of hopes and fears, where we can acknowledge our fears and hopes by placing a stone in the sand. And then the third is our tree of interdependence on the wall, which is usually available as well, but Adina will be using that for a ritual moment later in the service, so it will be included, just not in this moment right now. You can interact this morning with the candles or the stones in a couple of ways. First, you may raise your hand with the number 1 to have a candle lit, or 2 to have a stone or shell placed for you. And if you're on Zoom, you can add your name and which altar you'd like to interact with in the chat box, and someone here will do that for you. And then finally, you can rise and move to whatever altar you'd like to interact with later after we have our fingers raised and called. So we'll begin with the raising of the hands. And John will look for 1 and light a candle, and Adina will look for number 2 to place a stone or shell. And if you'd like to call out your names, because I can't call them out, you can do that, or it can just be the number. And then we also have, after that candle, 2 more candles, a candle for Carolyn and Mort Summer, and a candle for Alex and Jean or Joan McCrae. And I think that was all the hands, so if you'd like to come forward and interact with these altars yourself, come on forward to down the center, make your way up the front or down the side aisle. And while that's happening, if you're online and you haven't put your name in the chat, you can please feel free to do so now. I love that song. I had the pleasure of studying with Rebecca Parker at Star King, and it just always brings her presence to mind. And what a better song to introduce our little homily on Earth Day, our Earth Day love story. So today's Earth Day. Earth Day should be every day, but I think it's important that we also give it a day. And we set aside this time to honor that great being that gives us life in a really intentional way. We all know that we owe all that we are to Earth, and yet we all also know that sadly we collectively fall short in our relationship with her. This morning is an opportunity to rekindle our love and devotion for our great Earth Mother. For in the words of ecologist Baba Dioum, in the end, we will conserve only what we love. True love for Earth is rooted in an understanding of who Earth is, what Earth experiences, and why she needs our help. True love cannot exist without understanding, without true knowing. Our drive to know Earth better can be inspired by mystical experiences of awe and wonder. These are the experiences that cause us to fall in love, like love at first sight. And after that, continued commitment to knowing Earth is paramount to being able to really love her truly. I invite you to think about that pause that happens when you breathe deeply after it rains. Imagine the moment of darkness as the moon eclipses the sun. The beauty of the northern lights streaking green and purple across the sky, a snail on her rainbow-trailed journey, a wolf howling at twilight. The way that humans and trees need one another to breathe. These everyday miracles are doorways to love that can call us forth into relationships of reciprocity with the living world, embodying lives guided by a commitment to compassionate care. Every moment has the capacity to expand into mystical experiences like these. Every moment. And yet we usually don't dwell there. We're busied with the tasks of daily living, spreading the peanut butter on the bread, spooning out the jelly, pouring the milk, walking the dog, bathing the children, reading the news, driving from there to here, watering the plants, going to work, going to school, coming home, applying to that new job, making ends meet, folding the towels, smoothing the sheets, tying the hospital gown, draping the altar cloth, passing this morning's hymnals down the pews. In life's mundane moments, we're not always focused on awe or beauty. But the doorway to the mystical is always there if we seek it, if we adjust our gaze, if we shift our perspective. Any moment can lead to awe and wonder. And in my experience, moments of awe and wonder are what tether me to love. They're what keep me connected and drive me to protect our planet so that all that I love endures. I'm grateful for these experiences of awe, like the magnificence of the recent solar eclipse. Who was able to catch a little bit? Anybody go to the path of totality? All right. I'm grateful for those big experiences and those magnificent experiences, and also the smaller, unexpected moments of joy that burst into view from the sidelines of life. One favorite memory of mine is when I was hiking through the trees in North Carolina with my 3-year-old child, when suddenly she threw open her arms and started skipping down the trail and exclaimed, "Look at all the beauty that God has made." That was when I first realized she had a theology. Wonderful moment for me. Moments of awe like this might be rare or out of the ordinary for us on a typical day, but they are a practice that can be cultivated. And I invite you now to take a pause, just for a moment, and to look around the room and let your eyes drink in your surroundings. If vision isn't accessible to you, you can choose another sense like touch or sound. Let your eyes gravitate to something that pleases you. Sense something that you like. And when you find it, don't move away, just sink into that experience. Maybe there's a color or a texture. I'm loving the sun or the moon that's glowing in this painting over here. I'm appreciating your faces. As we drink in these experiences, we don't have to turn away until we're ready. Let yourself keep doing this practice if you'd like. Don't move away till you're ready. Turning up the volume on pleasure and beauty is a spiritual practice. It reminds us that there is almost always something to appreciate in the world around us. When I gaze around the room with beauty-seeking eyes, I realize that there is much to admire in my world. Ooh, a green sweater over here. And my heart swells in gratitude. Suddenly, my life is a museum of art that I've been gifted to dwell in. This is a way to remind ourselves of all that we love. And of course, I need to add, not all of life is beautiful, of course. Sometimes beauty can be hard to find or focus on. We are all aware of things that are wrong with our world. War's heavy burden weighs on our hearts, injustices abound. Our hearts, minds, and bodies suffer under the weight of it all. And it can be difficult to keep hope alive when our attention is fine-tuned to despair. So John told you that I've been working as a hospital chaplain. In my work as a chaplain, I minister to people every day who are in crisis. I tend to those with broken bones and broken hearts. It's an honor, truly, to accompany people during their most difficult moments. It's an honor to be let into those moments. And sometimes nestled within those moments are secret doorways that also lead to mystery, wonder, and awe. When our hearts are cracked open with compassion, that's just another place where love sneaks in. In Buddhism, there's a concept called bodhicitta, which can be understood as the awakened mind or the open heart. It's another word for compassion and loving kindness. American Buddhist nun Pema Chodron likens bodhicitta to tapping an underground spring. When we were digging the foundation for the retreat center in Gampo Abbey, she writes, we hit bedrock and a small crack appeared. A minute later, water was dripping out. An hour later, the flow was stronger and the crack was wider. Finding the basic goodness of bodhicitta, the open heart, is like that, tapping into a spring of living water that has been temporarily encased in solid rock. Staying present in moments of pleasure or pain is an act of conscious awareness. Tapping into the bedrock of our hearts, we remain cracked open and vulnerable, and the wellspring of our love pours out in moments of both joy and sorrow. This is love enduring. One way to stay connected to hope that persists beyond despair is to root ourselves in love, in this kind of love. Love is at the center, as I know you all know, of our proposed UU values. When love is at the center, it can guide us, ground us, and inform all that we do. Love reminds us of what our hearts are called to strive for. Love reminds us that our earth is precious enough to protect. Love is a lamplight for the journey, a balm for our wounds, and an electrolyte shot for the marathon of life. So writing love letters is one way to express our love. Through articulating this emotion and claiming what we appreciate, we tap the wellspring of bodhicitta in our hearts, and we connect with the devotion needed not only to admire Earth, but to align as Earth's allies, respecting and preserving her. Another Buddhist teacher, Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh, published a series called 10 Love Letters to the Earth. I invite you to browse that on Google. They're all great. I'm going to read you an excerpt from one of his love letters. Dear Mother Earth, each morning when I wake up, you offer me 24 brand new hours to cherish and enjoy your beauty. You gave birth to every miraculous form of life. Your children include the clear lake, the green pine, the pink cloud, the snow-capped mountaintop, the fragrant forest, the white crane, the golden deer, the extraordinary caterpillar. My deep wish is to live in such a way that I am awake to each of your wonders and nourished by your beauty. I cherish your precious creativity and I smile to this gift of life. Earth Mother, there are times when we have not loved you enough as people, times when we have forgotten your true nature, and times when we have discriminated and treated you as something other than ourself. There have even been times when, through ignorance and unskillfulness, we have underestimated, exploited, wounded, and polluted you. That is why I make the deep vow today, with gratitude and love in my heart, to cherish and protect your beauty and to embody your wondrous consciousness in my own life. I vow to follow in the footsteps of those who have gone before me, to live with awakening and compassion, and so be worthy of calling myself your child. True love for Earth calls us not only to admire her beauty, but to bear witness to her suffering and participate in her healing. I'm going to say that again. True love for Earth calls us not only to admire her beauty, that's important, but to bear witness to her suffering and participate in her healing. I think you all are focusing on interdependence this month, so that goes with that, yeah? Our awareness of this may ebb and flow, and like experiences of awe and wonder, is something that we must renew again over and over each day. The art of dedicated awareness blossoms into the love of devotion. So take another look around, maybe glance outside at the leaves. Take in a deep and nourishing breath as we would prepare for our ritual moment, and think to yourself, what is it that I love? What is it that I love in relation to Earth? If I were to write a love note to Earth today, what would I say? What might I say? We're going to just write small notes today, but maybe later you might go home and sit down at your desk and write a longer letter, compose a poem, maybe sing an improvised song in the shower. And now we will enter into a love note writing ritual that Adina will lead us through, allowing all that's been shared to inspire us as our loving thoughts bubble up from our hearts.
Thank you, Reverend Lauren. So the UU Ministry for the Earth invites you to go back and write longer notes later. You can actually send them in, they're collecting them, but I know you want to get to the bake sale. So, when you arrived this morning, you should have received a little paper leaf or a flower cutout and hopefully a tiny pencil to write with. If you don't have one, we can get some for you in the back. And think about that question during our quiet time. What do I love? Thinking back to our story about Alex, their answer would have been the tree. I saw some of you raise your hands for the tree. So think about what you love. Inspired by the spirit of love, I invite you to write or to draw, or even to set your intention on your piece of paper, a love note to the earth. And later, the notes that we make will be added to our tree of interdependence for all to enjoy. Your note could be addressed to an element of nature that you particularly enjoy, maybe something you focused on in the room, something like a certain mushroom you really like, or a plant or a flower like the ones John pointed out earlier. It could be words of praise for your favorite species. I love dogs, elephants, right, draw that on there. I could express fondness for an element, air, fire, wood, stone, water. Let the note bubble up from within you. Make it an authentic connection. What stirs in you when you connect with the earth and all that you love? And to help usher you musically through this love moment, we're going to invite the Tuesday Choir to come help us connect a little bit more as well. Thank you. Thank you, Tuesday Singers. Woo! Now we're going to do kind of a reverse offering, and baskets are going to be passed up and down the rows to collect your leaves of love. I trust that you know how to place it in and pass it along, kind of backwards of the whole money thing. So place them into the baskets, and later they're going to be placed on our tree over here. So if it's your first time, you've got to come back to see your note on the tree. And if it's your 1,000th time, you've got to come back to see your note on the tree. I think that the leaves are going to fill it out quite nicely, and the flowers are going to add lots of love. So I can't wait to admire all the love that we've shared. And speaking of love, we're about to sing a well-beloved song in this community. So if you would rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, Blue Boat Home, number 1064, and that is in the teal hymnal if you need it. And lyrics will be on the screen.
Love that one. You free bird. In preparation for our closing, let us reach out to each other in whatever way we feel comfortable. When you go, go in peace. Salam and shalom.
Leave this place knowing that you are good and knowing that you are loved. Blessed be.
Take your light and your dark and your love from this place. Share them with the world and stay safe until we meet again.
And thank you, everyone. Enjoy coffee and conversation and have a wonderful week. And the bake sale, yes. Oh, that we planned it in? Yeah. You know,